Hi, y'all. Welcome to Daily Mail, episode 11, the new daily segment of Spirit Mail. Okay, so in the comments yesterday, I had a request, a video on healing past wounds and moving forward. How a person cannot let the past stand in the way of their future. Okay, so I did two other videos that are going to be kind of along the same lines. One of them is the importance of thinking about what we're thinking about, and the other one was how to heal from attracting unhealthy relationships. Okay, those two videos would also be important and relevant along this topic, but I'm going to dig just a little bit deeper. And I'm going to start by telling you I am not a therapist. I'm not a licensed counselor, licensed professional counselor. I am not a doctor of psychology or psychiatry. I am not a doctor of medicine. I am a woman who has been through a lot, and I have let a lot go. I have moved on in my life, and I can share with you what has worked for me, and that's all I can do. I truly believe that with everybody, different modalities are going to work for different people. But we have to start with wanting to do that, move forward. So this was a good question. I'm going to just go through a list of things that I have moved on from. I was molested. I was raped twice. Date raped at the age of 16 and raped by my boss at the age of 20. I ran away twice. I was a single mom as a result of the rape by my boss. I've had an abortion. I, at one time was a very dogmatic Christian and then ended up with a homosexual son. And it's like, okay, God, why? Divorced 4 times. I've been sexually harassed in the workplace and by a family member. I've built 2 businesses, brick and mortar businesses, and lost both of them. Both were past that 3-year mark. You know, they say once you get past that 3-year mark, you have pretty good odds of having a successful business. I was in year 5 and 6. Both of them had to be closed. I've been suicidal. I've had a daughter molested by a brother-in-law. I've been abused, and I've been an abuser. I was one of 6 children and the primary caregiver of both my parents at the end of their lives, with little to no help. I've had multiple surgeries. I've been cheated on. I have been a cheater, and I've been the other woman. So whenever we talk about moving on from past hurts, I'm going to talk about it from my perspective, because sometimes the hurts were perpetrated on me, but other times I was the one who caused the hurt. But either way, moving on is important. It is so very important. And the very first thing I'm going to say about that is we have to remember and we have to know that our past does not define us, period. And I know that sounds so cliche. Now, if you're still living in the past, yes, it does define you. If you're still wallowing in the hurt, whether it was the hurt you perpetrated or the hurt that somebody perpetrated on you, yes, as long as we allow ourselves to stay there mentally and emotionally, then yes, it does actually define us, but it doesn't have to. Okay, so what did I do to move on? And it was different things at different times, because I wasn't always mature spiritually. I'm not enlightened. I'm not a guru, but I've definitely matured a lot spiritually and understood a lot. But let me tell you about this. In my early years, basically what I did was shove it down and move on, because I didn't have time for it. I was determined that I was going to make something of myself and be something in this world. So I would just shove it down and move forward, like it's not going to stop me. Those things that you do that with, though, eventually come back, and I have had them come back. So And as an older, more mature person, I've handled it differently. And the first thing that I did was said, this does not define me in either any way, shape, or form. So I dig. I find YouTube lectures. There's this book right here, The Miracle Power of Your Mind by Dr. Joseph Murphy. He has a book, an audio book on YouTube called The Power of the Subconscious Mind. If you're a reader, if you like to read, then I might suggest that you order the book and read it, because the audio book moves kind of fast. But I personally like the audio book because I can kind of do other things while I'm listening. However, I do stop it a lot, take notes, and then move on. But so read things like that. This book right here, Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself by Dr. Joe Dispenza, he explains how the mind works and how we hold on to things, and then how we can let them go. I personally feel like his process, his meditation process, is a little lengthy. That's my opinion. But that's my opinion now. When I first started reading him, I was all about doing that long meditation process. But I wanted to read a couple of paragraphs for you from this book. You know that when you repeatedly recreate the same emotions until you can't think anything greater than how you feel, then your feelings are now the means of your thinking. And since your feelings are a record of your previous experiences, then you're thinking in the past. And by quantum law, you create more of the past. So I know in a lot of our readings, Spirit has been really adamant about taking our thoughts captive. So, and I've been saying that it's time to take your thoughts captive. Well, Cheryl, what does that mean? That means redirect the energy, okay? I said in one of my very early readings, and I don't remember which sign it was, that one day I was going to start a roar group. Like the lion roars, roar. You almost have to have that fierce determination to discipline yourself enough to do this. But it's whenever you start having those thoughts and you don't catch them right away, and then they turn into feelings, or even when they're just the thought, recognize it. That number one, this thought is not serving me. It's not serving me. It's over. It's done with. It's in the past. There's nothing I can do with it. I am a different person now. I have survived this. What happened really doesn't define who I am today. So recognize the thought. Acknowledge why it's there. Yes, I was hurt, but that was a long time ago. Am I still hurt? No. However you acknowledge it, then honor it. It played an important part in who you are today, one way or another. It did. It either made you stronger. If the hurt was perpetrated on you, it really made you stronger. It really made you realize that you could get through stuff, right? Or if you were the perpetrator and you're truly remorseful and have moved past that, then it is, or trying to move past that, it has humbled you and has made you realize something about yourself that maybe you didn't realize before that event. And then release it. Okay, so how do you release it, Cheryl? Now, as a more mature person, whenever I need to release something, especially when it concerns another person, I do that Ho'oponopono method. And that is a very, very powerful prayer. It's a Hawaiian way of life, really, where you say, not to the person out loud, but with the person in mind, I'm sorry, please forgive me. Why would I say that, Cheryl, if I'm not the other ones who did something to me? I know that, but I'm thinking bad thoughts of you, of that person, right? So I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you, and I love you. And what happens is those words that we're saying to other people or focused toward other people, we end up turning it back on ourselves because we realize that the thoughts that we're having of those other people, of that incident, are not beneficial to us. There's a scripture in the Bible that says life and death are in the power of the tongue. Every word we speak is either giving life or retracting life. And it's not just giving life or retracting life from the person that we're speaking to, but it's doing it to us too. It's coming back on us, because everything that we do to another, we actually do to ourselves. That's why the golden rule is so important. Treat others the way you would want to be treated. So recognize the thoughts, acknowledge them, honor them, then release them with the Ho'oponopono prayer. I'm sorry, please forgive me, I love you, and thank you. Very important. Well, okay, let's go. I'm going to read some more of this. Accomplishing this about face, it's a great labor of personal change. You truly have to want to, and you truly have to discipline yourself to do it, because it's easy, believe me, it's easy to stay in a place where you just want to be angry, you just want to be mad, you just want to get justice, all those types of things. But the best way that you can get justice, the best revenge, this is another cliche, is a life well lived. Success, that's the best revenge, But here's the underlying part of that I don't think people talk about, is that it's not about revenge, it's about keeping your power. Because whenever we allow our thoughts and our thoughts of anger or resentment or unforgiveness or anything like that to be focused on another person, they've got our power. So at some point we have to decide, we have to get angry, just angry enough to decide we want our own power. So it's all about deciding. It's all about choice. I'm sorry, I just had an almond a while ago and I feel like I have almond pieces coming out of my mouth. It's all about us truly making a decision about what is in our best interest. Is it in our best interest to hang on to it? Or is it in our best interest to truly release it and move forward? What is in our best interest? This says so many people struggle to create a new destiny, but they find themselves unable to overcome the past memory of who they feel they are. Even if we crave unknown adventures and a dream of new possibilities ahead in the future, we seem to be compelled to revisit the past. So when we start to find ourselves revisiting that past, immediately recognize it, acknowledge it, honor it, and then release it. Say that prayer. I'm sorry, please forgive me, I love you, and thank you. Even if you have to get in the mirror and look at yourself, and I've done this, get in the mirror and look at yourself and say, they will not. You just got to get mad sometimes. They will not have victory over me. They will not take my power. I am worthy. And that's the whole thing. You are worthy. But it's really not you against them. Because I'm asking you in this segment to release them. To release them and bless them. Because if you, whatever you hold against them, you're holding against yourself. And there's going to be other segments, and I'm going to tell you stories from my own life that actually prove that to you, or an example of that. I don't have a scientific, my life has been kind of like a science lab. I wrote in here, wouldn't it be great if we could literally take all of our past hurts and just bury them? If we could literally do that. Only after we extracted what we learned from it, okay? And that's this honor part. Some little nugget of truth you learned about yourself, some little nugget of strength you gained. There's something in every situation that is beneficial to us if we can really detach ourselves emotionally and look at it. So it would be great if we could bury it only after we extract the lessons that we learned during that time. But the other thing is, whenever I read this, I kind of chuckled to myself because I have literally written down names of people that I was letting their words or their actions towards me play around in my mind. And I said, God, I can't do this. This is not beneficial to me. I need to let it go. I wrote their names down on a piece of paper, and then each one I lit it up and I burned it up. And I said, okay, God, you take it now. It's not mine anymore. It reminds me of that tin of fire. That might be where I got the idea that she just burned them. She burned them all up. Now they're ashes. They no longer have power over her. So breaking the habit of being yourself is Dr. Joe Dispenza. And this is the miracle power of your mind. This is the Joseph Murphy Treasury. It's a compilation of a bunch of his work, but the one online on YouTube is the power of the subconscious mind. And then Dr. Bruce Lipton also has a good book called The Biology of Belief. You know, whenever we start to revisit things in our mind, we let those thoughts seep in. Thoughts can come in willy-nilly, but we have the choice to let them reside there or to release them, to take them captive. So whenever I say take them captive, remember, I mean, recognize that that's what it is. Acknowledge why it's there. Honor it for what it taught you, what you learned from it, and then release it. Let it go. You can write it out. I journal a lot. Some of my journals back there because I was looking for this notebook with this list of stuff on it. Really and truly, guys, it's a matter of, it's a labor of love. It's deciding that you love yourself enough to do what's best for you. And what's best for you is really to release it so that you can move forward. And the way that you release it is that you recognize it, you acknowledge it, you honor it for what it taught you, and then you release it and move forward. And it's not something that happens overnight. And it can happen. You can do it today and feel great, and 3 weeks down the road something triggers it, and then you have to release it all over again. Release it, release it, release it every time, as many times as you have to, until it's gone and you can truly walk forward from it. Okay, God, guides, angels, archangels, Holy Spirit, I thank you for the question. I thank you that we all truly want to move forward in our lives. We all truly want to live our best lives. Not just in the material world, but emotionally and spiritually. I thank you, something popped out of there. I thank you for this community of people who want to move forward. And I thank you that they look to you for guidance. Show us the PS for this message, please. Something that I might have forgotten. Please show us the PS. Okay. This is all of our goal, and this is what their goal is for us too. Spirit's goal for us is for us to have our happily ever after. That's truly what they want, but we have to cooperate with them, because whenever we hold on to hurt and we hold on to resentment and we hold on to anger, they can't reach us. Not because we're doing anything wrong. It's just that we've got so much of that stuff going on in our head and in our mind, and it seeps into our heart, and it's so clouded, they just can't get to us. Even if they try, or they do try, even when they try, they can't reach us because we're too caught up in it's like you can't see the forest for the trees. It's that same thing. So it's about redirecting that energy, clearing that energy so that you can have the guidance from your higher self and from your spirit guides, your angels, whoever it is that you work with. This is the Emperor. The Emperor is he's the culmination of all the kings. We all have. That is who we all are. We all are really emperors. We all have the resourcefulness. We all have the emotional intelligence. We have to find that emotional intelligence, but it's there for us. It's there for us to understand that we can detach from the emotions, still be compassionate and loving and caring, but not to let those emotions rule our day. So we all have the resourcefulness of the pentacles, the emotional intelligence of the cups, the intellect of the swords, and the passion and the inspiration of the wands. So it's deep within all of us, and we all have a right to walk that life out, just like this emperor, on a firm foundation, on our worthiness, because this is our worthiness right there. And they're saying that you're meant to walk in victory. We're all meant to walk in victory. And the only way that we can really, really do that is to be disciplined. You know, we wouldn't dream, if we like to eat healthy, we wouldn't dream of not eating healthy. And if we're workout people, if we like to go to the gym, we wouldn't dream of not going to the gym. It's the same thing with our mind and our emotions. We have to work those. That has to become a way of life, just like everything else. We have to take those thoughts captive, the ones that don't serve us, of the past hurt, the past anger. It doesn't serve us to hang on to it. So the only way that you're going to be able to move forward from it is to truly release it. If you have to forgive yourself because you were a perpetrator, then you need to forgive yourself. If you need to forgive somebody else because they perpetrated hurt upon you, then you need to forgive them. It doesn't mean you have to like them. Doesn't mean you have to hang out with them, but you have got to forgive them and release them. Okay. I hope that helped answer your questions. And if anybody else has another topic, please leave it in the comments. I'm going to put these resources in the comments. I'm going to put the links to those other 2 videos I did, plus this book, and that book. I'm going to put it all in the description. Okay, guys, I love y'all so much. Go out and have a super duper day. And until next time, bye.